welcome back to my channel. Today is another highly requested video and I'm going to be sharing with you what are my top must-have newborn essentials. My name is Kitty Hackle. I'm a registered general nurse. I'm also a lactation consultant, hypnobirthing instructor, antenatal educator, birth and postpartum doula. As well as that, I'm now mum to two, including the sweet little boy who's on my chest, baby Archer, who is now 9 weeks old and snugly sleeping away in what is my number one essential, and that is a baby wrap or baby carrier. Right now he's snuggled away in, this is the boba wrap, but I have three. I circulate between them and I put them in and out of the wash just because they get a lot of spit up on them or breast milk on them, and it's nice to kind of refresh them as well. Once you wash them, they kind of gives back that little bit more bounce and structure to them. I'm going to do a whole separate tutorial on how I get my baby in and out and how I tie the wrap, so if that's something that you're curious about, make sure and check out that video. If I've already released it, I will make sure to put it in the description box of this video down below. But that is my number one essential. The reason for that is that generally the way I parent is babies love, or any babies that I've met love to be held, particularly for the first 3 months of life. They love to be close to you, they love to hear your heartbeat, and for me the easiest way to be able to do other things, so I work for myself, so for me to be able to work, for me to be able to cook and clean and mind my other kiddos hands-free, means that I can get on with that while getting all those extra baby snuggles. As well as that, there's loads of other benefits to baby wearing, and while I'm not a baby wearing consultant, having your baby in this position nice and close to you also helps to do things like get breastfeeding off to a great start. That time spent in close contact releases hormones both in you and in your baby to ensure breastfeeding gets off on the best foot. It also does things like regulates your baby's heart rate and their temperature. It helps to diversify their microbiome by that exposure to their skin and other pathogens that you're exposed to, and it makes sure that they are less likely to cry because they're getting their needs met nice and quickly. You're able to observe them and keep a really close eye on them and meet those needs as they're arising, as opposed to catching them when they're maybe at the later stages of hunger, when they're actually crying and you can actually hear them. So for me, this is the easiest way to go. It means that I can get on with a little bit of life as it was before baby while getting the snuggles in. So my baby essential number 2 is footed and zippy sleepers and then vests. So for me, I like to do about 7. I find that's almost like my magic number in terms of being able to have some that are both washed and dried and ready to go. I go for kind of more neutral colors. These are the ones that we've been loving this time around from Spearmint Baby. And it's like that lovely ribbed texture, again really neutral colors. I don't use the hand covers because I love to keep my baby's hands free, to help them kind of use their hands like a GPS system to find the breast since we're breastfeeding. I just keep their nails nice and short, and I'll tell you how in one of my other essentials. But I like the footed sleepers because I learned first time around that babies don't keep their socks on, as cute as they are, so making sure that they're nice and snug with the footed version. And then of course the zipper means that it's really easy to change their bum, and it means that it's nice and quick getting them in and out of other outfits. And yeah, that's a personal favorite, so I go with that. And then I go with the snap button vests, and I don't have a particular brand for those. I just go for the plain white version. And my babies run on the smaller side, so I do tend to get a few newborn sizes, but the majority of them would be in the 0 to 3 months, since they really don't get much time in their newborn sizes, maybe a month. We've had all sort of under 7 pound babies, and they've gotten about a month out of their newborn size, and then we've gone straight into the 0 to 3 months. I'm going to make sure that I have all of these products linked in the description box down below if you are wondering, so there's no need to like take notes or anything. My next must-have is muslin swaddle blankets, and while we don't actually swaddle in this family, it's somewhat a controversial topic when it comes to being your baby showing you their newborn feeding cues. So they like to put their hands to their mouth, and obviously they can't do that if they are fully swaddled. And oftentimes as well, there's a little bit of debate around whether your baby can be too cozy, that they actually forget that they're no longer in the womb and don't then wake for those windows when you would like them to be feeding. So when you're getting breastfeeding off to the best start, certainly I avoid swaddling, or at the very least making sure that you're giving them plenty of time outside of the swaddle. However, what I use these for, so I go for the muslin material, or sort of gauze material, and the super duper sized ones. These are multi-use, so I use them for wiping up spit. I use them for as a cloth rag in an emergency. I use them to lay down on a public changing table if we're out and about. I use them as a nursing cover. I just tie, like, I generally don't cover at all for feeding, because unless I feel particularly uncomfortable in a certain area, but I'll just knot them at one side and then just pop it over the top, and you've got a really nice lightweight nursing cover that isn't kind of too heavy for your baby, so they don't get too hot or too fussy under there. So yeah, I go for about 3 or 4 of these so that they can be in the wash and you can kind of have them on constant rotation. And it can also double up as a trolley cover if you're doing your shopping, or as a little blanket if your baby is in trouble, or a cloth diaper if you're in super bother. My next essential then is a blanket, and we almost always go for either a crochet blanket with holes in it or just a basic cellular blanket. So you can see the little holes in this one. The reason for that is we co-sleep, so we bed share. Our babies stay with us in the bed from the get-go. So if you are not bed sharing, or you haven't thought about what way you're going to sleep with your baby, having somewhere for your baby to sleep safely is really important. But a part of bed sharing, and I'll share some links on safe bed sharing down below, there are a couple of rules with it, and one of them is that your baby doesn't share the same duvet that you would in case it were to go up over their head. So with a cellular blanket like this, you have it placed at sort of nipple height or chest height for your baby, to lessen the likelihood of it going up over them. But if it were to go up over them, since it's got all those little holes in it, your baby can still breathe and be very safe. So this is great for sleeping at night, but it's also fantastic to put over the car seat when you're out and about. So the next one is a car seat, and I say car seat specifically because we stray away from the multi-use travel systems. The reason for that is because it doesn't give us the extra temptation to leave our baby in the car seat, click them out and click them onto the travel system. Babies really should not be in that sort of position for much longer than a half an hour without a little break to stretch their little bodies out, so that your babies don't end up with sort of tension, in their bodies at all. So just in the same way that if you were sitting in your office chair all day and sort of hunched over a computer, you would want to get up and sort of move your body about. Babies are the same. So for us, the easiest thing to do is baby wear, or have a buggy for outside of that. Generally, I wear my babies until they're about 6 months or so, until they get really heavy anyway. They have most of their naps on me. So outside of that, we just got a car seat. So it's a newborn car seat. I'll make sure and link the one that we have down below. So happy with it. Last time we had the Stock a Baby one, and it was just cumbersome and heavy, and I didn't feel like my baby was comfortable in it, whereas this time around I feel like we've hit the jackpot and it's exactly what I wanted. Colour and how it looks doesn't really matter too much to me, so long as my baby is safe and comfortable. So I'll make sure and link the one that we've gone for down below. My next essential isn't so much a newborn essential, but it's more so something that is a baby essential for when your baby starts weaning or starts eating solids, and that is a high chair. So for us, we have had several different high chair options. I've learnt through the process that actually something that's really easy to clean, so without material, is the best. We do a form of baby-led weaning, so there's lots of mess that comes with that. It's fantastic. I love it. I wouldn't do it any other way, but it is quite a messy process. So for us, something without all the extra little creases and crevices for us to clean, something that's easily wipe downable. We went for the white IKEA high chair, and it also has somewhere for your baby to put their foot, so it means that they're really comfortable and they can eat really well. Research says that those of us who can have our feet well planted on the floor tend to be more comfortable, but also eat more of our meal and what's in front of us. So I'm all about having a comfortable experience for dining. I feel like it's a huge part. It's a huge part of my happiness. I love eating, so I want my babies to feel the same. So a high chair was something that we didn't necessarily buy before baby was born, but more as we were approaching that 6 month mark. The next two essentials are breastfeeding related. So yes, I'm a lactation consultant, but that doesn't mean that I don't need support and products that make breastfeeding easier for me. So for me, some of the essentials have been breast pads. I love these reusable ones, and I'll make sure I link the website down below, but these are bamboo. They're so soft, and really they hold quite a lot of milk, so I haven't ever run into trouble where I've been leaking out and about, and it just means that I'm really comfortable and going to feel really confident in whatever I'm wearing. They're also not massively thick, so while they hold a lot of moisture, they aren't really obvious underneath your clothes. So that's reusable breast pads. Equally, disposable pads, I would say, are really important. So I love the Lancino ones, and I also love the new Nuke ones. So I'll make sure and link those down below as well. They are really fantastic and hold quite a lot of milk as well. So the next thing then is a milk collection device. This is actually the Lancino one, but I also love the Haka. I also have the Aldi version, I think it is, and what the only real difference is that some of them differ in size and some of them don't have a suction cup on the bottom. I wouldn't say that any of that is essential. You know, none of them are massively stable, so you will need to transfer your milk into whatever, whether it's a glass bottle or a bag or a little container that you are storing your breast milk in. But the reason I love this is because the guidelines for expressing and donating breast milk have changed, so you can now donate whatever milk you collect in your milk collection device. The only thing I would say as a little caveat to the use of breast milk collectors is that if you apply too much suction, so the way to apply it, and I should do a reel on this, is you flip it down, apply a little bit of suction, place it, say this over my breast, and then allow it to fold back so it stays in place. The only caveat to their use is if you apply too much suction, and not it's where it's just enough suction to collect whatever would otherwise fall during that letdown or that milk spray or milk ejection reflex, is that you can stimulate further milk making. So you can stimulate what we call an oversupply, which of course you can run into troubles of their own with blocked ducts and mastitis and things like that. So be really mindful with their use, and I say only kind of apply it once a day, again being really careful with the amount of suction that you. So the next things that you are going to need is a diaper or a nappy for your baby. For us, we are not a completely cloth diapering family, so outside of that we will either use the Pampers Pure range or the Kitten Kin range, are also gorgeous. At least until our babies are out of, so maybe 3 months or so, that's when we start looking into using cloth nappies. This time I started cloth diapering a little bit earlier. Still, my favourite are either the wool nappies, where you've got a wool cover, or I love the Alva Baby pocket diapers still. The reason I like these, having tried, you know, the all-in ones, and having tried the ones with just the waterproof cover over them, is that I feel like these wick the moisture away from your baby's skin really well. So our babies always get some degree of nappy rash, still to get to the bottom of that. But for us, the all-in ones actually made it worse because our baby was sort of sitting in their wee. So generally it's the urea in the urine that causes the irritation. So the more wicking ability those nappies had, the better for us. So loved these. Actually got them off Wish and got a nice big pile of them. And then we just got the bamboo inserts. So they quite literally, you have... They can be used from a newborn size as well. You just fold them down, but they have a little pocket at the bottom. So you just insert whatever inserts you're going for through there. And then whenever it comes to cleaning them, if your baby is exclusively breastfed, you can just whip the insert out and throw the whole thing into the wash. There's no pre-cleaning required, and we're already doing loads of laundry as new parents, so for me it's not necessarily an extra step or anything. So we love pocket diapers, and yeah, whatever you do is right for you and your family. So going along with diapering your baby, you also have to think about what sort of wipes you're going to use. For us, we have pretty much exclusively, bar maybe the odd pack of unfragranced Aldi wipes, which they're now making fully compostable, which is awesome. We love the cheeky wipes, and these I bought in a pack of I think like 100 before Atticus was born, and we use these for everything. We use them for sticky faces. I use them at nighttime for washing my face, washing off makeup. I use them for wiping down countertops the odd time. They are fantastic, and when we are at home, this is exclusively what we will use. They are really soft, really durable, much better for the environment. And then when we're out and about, I'll just throw a bag of those Aldi wipes into my handbag. And the next thing then actually is on that note, what you use for a nappy bag or a diaper bag. And I used to pack quite literally the kitchen sink when I was, when Atticus was very little. And now, this being my second little boy, I realize how little you need. I also realize that while the idea of having like a cross-body huge bag sounds very aesthetically pleasing and sounds quite cute for an outfit choice, an outfit accessory, it's not really that practical. So I should have brought it up with me. It's a backpack version, and it's lasted me really well. It's quite small, and I will quite literally put so I've got a 2.5-year-old and a 9-week-old, and then I've got Jess who's 9. So I will literally put snacks, 2 changes of outfit, one for Atticus, one for Archer, 2 nappies, because we've only got one in nappies now, 2 nappies, a pack of wipes and snacks. And that is all I will bring with me, and my wallet if I'm like gonna buy anything. So I keep it really, really minimal, and I find that if I have a backpack version, it means I can baby wear on the front then. So it's really, really helpful. It means I can be more active with my kiddos, which is really where I want to be. The next thing then that is essential for us and mightn't be essential for everyone is a double stroller or double buggy. And we actually got a fantastic secondhand one. It's the Bob stroller, and I love this one in particular because I don't like the stacking the one on top of each other ones, because no one really wants to be on the bottom, right? No one really wants to be on the bottom bunk when it comes to bunk beds. Same thing. So I got one that was forward facing, and I got it as a really durable outdoorsy one. So it's the running wheels, and it means that I can go for a nice jog once I get back into running and moving. And moving is really medicine for me. It helps my mental health to be much better. So I cannot wait to get back running, and that is the buggy, the double stroller that we went for. But you might find that it's not necessary. I mean, you might instead just go for wearing one baby and then having one stroller for the other. You might find that having one stroller and then having the little buggy board for your kid to stand on behind the stroller is all you really need, depending on the amount of movement that you plan on doing with them. So the next thing that I wouldn't have previously deemed as essential, but as a bed sharing family, a waterproof cover over your bed, waterproof sheet. So you put your waterproof sheet on, then you put your normal sheet on, and then you make your bed. And for us, with leaking loads of milk in the beginning, with reusable nappies maybe leaking through in the night time, it's so much easier for us to just be able to strip the bed right down and remake it there and then, as opposed to having to try and wash and air dry a mattress, which if you've been there so for us a waterproof bed sheet is fantastic. So the next thing is something that I actually don't have and don't get, and while I did get one last time, I just never found that I used it, and that was a baby bathtub. So for us, we have a bath in our house, but so we'll often do kind of co-bathing. So I will get in the bath first, and I will have my face mask on, have my luscious time, and then Daddy will come and pass me the baby, and I'll let them have a little splash around then once the water is cooled down. Equally, when my babies are very small, I can just pop them into the kitchen sink and they can have a little rinse. But having a specific baby bath, I found just took up a huge amount of space and was just really unnecessary for me. Let me know if you want me to do a video on the things that I don't buy or I don't get for my babies. That might also be quite interesting for all of you. Equally, when it comes to sort of lotions and potions and body washes and gels, I don't buy any of those things for my babies either. Generally, our babies, at least until 6 weeks, don't need anything but water on their skin. They're not dirty. They just need a little wipe down if they get poo on them. That's pretty much it. Or a little bit of spit up maybe in the little under the chin area can get a bit yucky and gross. But for me, I will just use this Silcox base. You can get it in any chemist. I think it was like €2 something. €3, €3 and 25 cents for this massive big container, and this is perfect as a soap. So you can just sort of slather their little bodies in it and wash them down, and put a little bit into the water, swirl it around in the water to keep to maintain that kind of the natural and soft, healthy integrity of their skin. You don't want anything that's too harsh or stripping or drying. So I will use this as a soap, and then if my baby's got a particularly dry patch, I'll maybe use a little bit of pure organic coconut oil just on that area, or a little bit more of that. But it's not necessary for you to be buying any baby specific products or oils or petroleum based products for your baby. I also do delayed bathing with my babies. So we will, I think Atticus got his first bath when he was almost a month old, but like that we would just do the top and tail technique. So every time that we were sort of changing him, we would clean his umbilical cord, we would clean underneath all of those little creases, we would use separate cotton wool balls to clean from the inside his eye to outside and down behind his ears. So he was quite clean, but he didn't need to be fully immersed. There's a lot to be said for delayed bathing in terms of reducing the likelihood of your baby getting things like eczema and dermatitis and other kind of skin issues. So as someone who struggles with eczema, I really wanted to make sure that I was doing everything that I could to avoid my kiddos getting that as well. So that is something that I do not do. Okay, so that is everything that I get for my babies. It's quite a minimal list, I'm very aware of that, but I'm not into clutter and accessories and noisy, loud things. The world is already so exciting and so new, so I find that it's just enough stimulation for your babies to be looking around the space, maybe seeing their siblings play, maybe being in the carrier and out for a walk and seeing nature. So the less that you have, I find the better, and also makes for a much calmer mum. So let me know in the comments down below if you think I've forgotten anything, or anything that you found was really essential to you as a new parent for your newborn baby. And let me know if you would be interested in me doing a separate video all about the things that I do not get for my babies.